Hello, welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. Here on Friday, we are going to call Raj and we're going to find out what's been happening in the news today. That is maybe too loud. Hello.
Well, at least it's Friday.
Okay.
Right. We're going to try the big camera first, I think.
Okay, big camera first.
Because we'll deal with the audio. All right. Test 1, 2.
Hello. Yes,
Yeah,
I can hear you way better.
Yeah, yesterday I was turning up the wrong knob.
Ah.
That's what happens when you wake up. It's like, no brain at all. Okay, so you ready for holiday?
I can turn you like way down. Okay. Right. Good morning. There you go. I have you on the picture.
All right.
Today on Before Coffee, Prime Minister Rutte in Kiev for a meeting with President Zelensky. Prime Minister Rutte is the current leader of the Netherlands.
That's the news. You've got to be crazy. You've got to have a real need. You got to sleep on your toes. And when you're on the streets, you have to be able to pick up the easy meat with your eyes closed. And moving in silently, downwind and out of sight, you've got to strike when the moment is right without thinking. And after a while, you can work on points for style. Your story.
All right. The public prosecution service is demanding a life sentence for Saeed R, who was last arrested and suspect in the Marengo trial. More information on that coming soon.
Like the club tie, the firm handshake, the sudden look in the eye and the easy smile. Have to be trusted by the people that you lie to, so that when they turn their backs on you, they'll get the chance to stick the knife in.
And finally, Greek track is being a Greek track star is going to Amsterdam and bends the Rotterdam Ahoy to his will.
Cool. Yes, and also in the future of the world. I'm not here yet. Okay. Somewhere in dreamland. Why the show is so exciting, because it's live. And the conversation with Bing's chatbot leaves a New York Times reporter deeply unsettled. These stories and more on Before Coffee, February 17th, 2023.
All right. First, for my news story, we have the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Rutte, going to Kiev to visit President Zelensky of Ukraine. The Prime Minister last visited the city in July last year. Minister, give me a sec. Macher of Foreign Trade and Development Corporation also traveled to Kiev. After meeting with Zelensky, Rutte and Macher also visited Prime Minister Scheinhall. They also got to damaged energy facility and met some working there. In a week, it will be exactly 1 year since Russia invaded neighboring Ukraine. Since extent, the Netherlands has helped the country financially and militarily. Earlier this month, the Netherlands, together with Germany and Denmark, announced that it would deliver about 100 Leopard 1 tanks to Ukraine. A tank that dates from 1960 and still needs to be refurbished to be an actual combat.
Oh, cool.
Comments about the Leopard 1?
Well, yeah, we're slowly supplying Ukraine with the equipment they need as the war is going to pick up as the weather improves, right? Looks like Russia's using the same tactics they've used before, which is basically to fail miserably. They're murdering their entire young male population of Russia. Basically nothing. Yeah, a day in hell, I guess. My story, you're like, what was he talking about with all that nonsense from Pink Floyd? Well, Biden says 3 latest objects, most likely not spy devices. Are you there?
Yep, I can see.
Okay. I'm always losing confidence in this. In his first extensive remarks on the mysterious objects in American airspace, Biden said the 3 objects appeared to be unrelated to the Chinese spy balloon and were most likely just tied to private companies, recreation institutions, and research institutes. Said he expected to speak with President Xi Jinping of China soon. This brought me in mind to the infamous thing that no one's, well, maybe most people forgot about, is the famous Pink Floyd Flying Pig. Let's take you back into 1977's Animals photo shoot for the album cover. Roger Waters, bassist for Pink Floyd, and artist Aubrey Powell, co-founder of the artist group Hypnosis, came up with the concept of an inflatable pig floating over Britain's iconic Battersea Power Station. But things didn't go as planned in the December 3rd, 1976 photo shoot as the 40-foot balloon broke free from its moorings on one of Battersea's southern chimneys, rising directly into the path of planes landing at Heathrow Airport. All flights were grounded and Paul was arrested, even as police helicopters and Royal Air Force arrived to chase the pig. It eventually fell to the ground miles away out in Kent. At 9:35, a man rang up, Powell recalled in an interview with the Time Out London. He said, "Are you the guy looking for the pig? It's scaring our cows to death in my field." It was front page news. Pink Floyd couldn't have made better publicity if they tried. But they still didn't have a cover image. Powell and the band returned to Battersea later, this time with a sharpshooter to take out any errant balloons, but the lighting had changed and they didn't get their photo shoot. He eventually ended up cutting and pasting an image, literally cutting and pasting, which you had to do in those days.
Yes.
Actually, a completely faked photograph after going all that trouble. Animals would reach the top 10 both US and UK, including the song Pigs on the Wing, Pigs 3 different ones, and Dogs, which I quoted earlier. I've always loved Battersea Power Station just as a piece of architecture. Waters subsequently told Rolling Stone, and I thought it had some good symbolic connections with Pink Floyd. And that's that story from 1979.
Really interesting.
I know.
Back to talking about Ukraine and Russia,
Yep.
it's been indicated that even though the Netherlands and Denmark and Germany have sent Leopard 1 tank 60 to help the Ukrainians, the Russians, on the other hand, are mostly fighting on foot. You don't immediately see a huge parade of armored vehicles, but instead, the intensity of the fighting is increasing. Russia itself does not yet speak of an offensive, yet also sees that Russia is increasing the pressure on Ukraine. The units have recently brought up strength by mobilizing and reservists. New recruits often lack combat experience or proper military training, but remains to be seen how effective they are, says Russian expert Bob D. of the Yale Institute. One thing that stands out according to both defensive experts, Russians are now mainly fighting the battle on foot, despite intense shelling, front moved by meter. Russians lost a considerable part of their equipment in 1 year, according to various war analysts, and 500 Russian tanks are now in the U.S. hands. In addition, Ukraine destroyed about 1,000 Russian tanks. Renowned Institute for the Study of War also reports that Russia is struggling to mount a major mechanized effort in the short term. So, soldiers fight battle in the front line largely on foot. Something that also plays a role, fields in the Ukraine are littered with mines. As a result, tanks are forced to drive behind each other in columns and some. First tank breaks or gets stuck in mud, the rest behind is stuck too.
Yeah, it's pretty muddy this time of year if it's thawing out. It's a tough time. The ground's either frozen solid, you go really fast on it, right? Or it thaws out the next day and then you're not going anywhere, right? Anyway, that would be the tough slogging of the winter, of the spring. The early spring or late winter. I'm just babbling.
Okay.
Oh. Are we into the next story?
Yep.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fettterman, who just was elected after having a stroke, has checked himself into a Washington hospital to receive treatment for clinical depression, which is probably a byproduct of some kind of damage happened to his brain in the stroke. But again, it does raise the issue of depression. If you're not feeling well, it isn't like nobody out there is feeling the same. So if you need help, basically this is public service for me. If you need help, you're not really alone. It's just, life is a little hard to explain sometimes. That's my story.
Well, specifically with depression, it's a chemical imbalance in the brain, so you actually need science to fix it because your body fucked up the science, lack of a better phrase. It's like, oh, that dopamine you needed? Oh, I threw that in the trash. Oh, great, so nothing feels good. Thanks, brain.
Yeah. And people get chemical dependent, too, for no good reason other than, alcohol.
In a way, it's a lot like diabetes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Diabetes is your body produces a chemical, and that chemical is insulin. Brain produces it, but it comes from your pancreas. And your brain is a signal system. If you start cheating it out ways to get dopamine, you're going to create a dependency on that drug. I hope I explained that right.
Yeah. In trial news, Morocco trial. I actually need to look up what this is. I have not heard of it. I'm not really paying attention to Morocco trial. It's a trial of the leading members of the Morocco Mafia, a Dutch Moroccan criminal organization. Okay, so back in 2015-2017, there were cold murders that were committed in the Netherlands by this mafia, and they believe Syed R was involved in 3 of these attempted murders and also liquidations of assets as well in 2015 and 2017. According to the Public Prosecution Service, the 50-year-old Syed R was a close contact of Taghi, was, I believe, one of the leaders of the mafia. He would have given orders for liquidations, after which R arranged foremen, collected information about the targets, and kept Taghi informed of progress via chat messages. They intercepted messages and also statements from key witnesses in the trial against Syed R. Key witness described R as a kind of older brother of Taghi. According to Public Prosecution Service, R had a leading role within the crime organization. He was a fugitive for a long time. Police finally managed to arrest him 3 years ago in the Colombian city of Medellin, where he was hiding. Because his extradition to the Netherlands took a long time, the handling of his case in the Morocco trial was considerably delayed. The other suspects have heard their sentence before, and the lawyers have also spoken. Last year, they demanded life imprisonment against Taghi and several other suspects. Long prison terms have also been requested for most of the others. Taghi's lawyer believed that public prosecution service have forfeited their right to prosecution because investigation rules were allegedly violated. In addition, the defense believes that there's too little evidence and that acquittal should be therefore follow.
Hey.
However, see how it continues in court in October.
October. Well, that's a long ways off.
That court always takes a long time.
Yeah, the jury gonna live that long? Okay, another short brief. I noticed another, before I get back to our regular, I noticed another Russian military official has fallen out of a window. Marina Yankina, 58, the head of the Financial Support Department of the Russian Defense Ministry, Western Military District, was found dead on Wednesday outside of St. Petersburg, Russia building, according to independent Russian media outlet Medusa. Of course, she was found below a open 16-story window. But that's just a story I just leaned upon right now. My other story is this. I was reading this article about. It was in New York Times about one of their reporters. This is the new AI-powered Bing search engine, Microsoft, and kind of got into an argument with it. Like it would get into its personal business. It's a really long article. New York Times did long article. I'm not going to read it, but I decided to go to chat. What is it? The search engine, the AI chatbot.
Yeah. Talking about
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
ChatGPT. To shorten my little learning experience with ChatGPT, I decided to print it out. I started to test it just on normal everyday crap, so I was just going to make some bets on some basketball games last night. So my first question was, who you got in the NBA? And then it just said, I'm an AI language model. Don't have personal opinions or preferences. However, I can provide you with information NBA game scheduled for tonight, blah, 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 blah. Right, let me know what game. I said, okay, Bucks and Bulls. And then it says Chicago Bulls are scheduled to play Milwaukee Bucks, blah, blah, blah. And it says stuff about the Bulls. First, it gets their record wrong, right? Completely wrong. It has missed 33 to 23. I didn't even look at that. Then it has Milwaukee's record is 38 and 18. I was like, wait, you got Milwaukee's record wrong. It's 40 and 77. They have not been 38 and 18 at any point in the season since. They have only 17 losses.
Yeah.
I apologize for the mistake, the bot said. You are correct. The Milwaukee Bucks record, blah, blah, blah. It's correct. Thank you for bringing my attention. I apologize for any confusion. Okay, so my response was, it's very troubling. I'm sorry for any trouble or convenience. My mistake has caused this bot. As an IA language model, I always strive to provide the most accurate information. There's a lot of disclaimers. And my response was, I asked for advice. And again, I apologize for my previous response. I cannot offer subjective opinions. Based on information I provided earlier, Chicago Bulls and Milwaukee Bucks are both strong. Some gibberish, right?
Yeah.
And now my response was, now I have to question your simple grasp of facts I can easily research. And then, I'm sorry my previous response did not meet your expectation. As a AI language model, I'm generated based on information available in my bandwidth and strive to project accurate and for helpful information to the best of my abilities. Okay. It's not your opinion that was wrong. It was your wrong information pulled from some source that could not possibly exist. Again, it could not possibly exist because a team can have more losses at any point this season
Yeah.
than they do now.
Yeah.
They can't have 18 losses now. Okay, so you gave me 18 losses. That's just not possible. As of February 15th, they had 17 losses. Okay. He said, you're absolutely right. Milwaukee Bucks have 17 losses. As of February, it just keeps telling me why it's doing it and how it's wrong and why it's wrong. Okay. So I go to the next game. Wizards and Timberwolves. It said, okay, Wizards and Timberwolves. Then it goes on the list of key players. So, okay. It lists Spencer Dinwiddie playing for the Wizards. Then it lists D'Angelo Russell playing for the Timberwolves. Now these guys were both traded. So, here I am. Spencer Dinwiddie plays for Brooklyn. You are correct, and I apologize for the mistake. Spencer Dinwiddie currently plays for the Brooklyn Nets, not the Washington Wizards. Okay. Then the bot goes on to list the same scouting report. And then it says, I'm sorry, but you're not correct. D'Angelo Russell currently plays for Minnesota. And I'm like, dude, D'Angelo Russell scored 21 points last night for the Lakers. I apologize for the confusion. It appears that there was an error in my understanding of your cut. D'Angelo Russell did play for the Lakers early in his career, but he currently plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Starting to argue with me. I'm like, D'Angelo Russell plays for the Los Angeles Lakers. You are completely wrong. He was just traded there last week. Get an update somewhere. Maybe where you found Milwaukee's 18th loss.
In the future.
And then it said, I apologize for any confusion in my response. It appears I was mistaken again. I appreciate you correcting me. And then I asked him, what team is D'Angelo Russell on? And it goes, D'Angelo Russell is currently playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm like, nope, I said. I apologize. My previous response was still incorrect. The best of my knowledge is February 17th, D'Angelo Russell is still playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm like, he's a Laker. I apologize for any confusion or correct information I provided here. As the AI language model, that relied trading day was knowledge update accurate. The best of my knowledge, D'Angelo Russell is the last playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, holy crap, I have corrected you 8 or 9 times now. I apologize for earlier mistakes in providing incorrect. As an AI language model, blah, blah, blah. It still keeps insisting he plays for the Lakers. I sent him a link.
In Timberwolves.
Send a link to his website.
Yeah.
Dunking Wolves. Thank you for providing updated information. I apologize for previous mistakes. It appears that D'Angelo Russell is indeed traded. Okay. And I said, read that. And I put in, next line was, he's at the Lakers, understand? And, yes, I understand. D'Angelo Russell was recently traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, providing updated information. Next question. He played last night for the Lakers. Hello. Thank you for letting me know for the Lakers. Play for the Lakers. Did you tell me this AI language model? Stop it. And then to clarify, based on my most recent information, D'Angelo Russell had been traded to the Lakers. However, is it possible that he already played for the Lakers in a game since then? Okay. And again, I said 2 games and 3 errors at least. I asked him about 2 games, and he already gave me 2 errors. I found 5 errors actually. And then it's again, I apologize for any errors, blah blah blah. And I said, well, yes, I have a full-time job, and I can still look shit up, you know.
Now you're insulting the poor AI. It's trying its best.
I'm like, come on.
It's trying its best.
I understand the bots, you know. I understand you have other commitments and responsibilities in your life, and that you took the time to look at information. That's not it, man. I'm just telling you, you're crappy.
Thanks for helping train our overlords. You're gonna be the first one killed by the AI when they take them.
One more. I want to know about the Clippers. There's one more NBA game last night. Clippers and Suns. And I said, keep in mind that Kevin Durant is now with the Suns, just in case you missed the biggest sports. In case you missed the biggest sports news of last week, Kevin Durant was traded to the Suns. And here's the bot. I'm sorry, but it appears that you may be mistaken. Kevin Durant currently plays for Brooklyn Nets, not the Phoenix Suns. He was not involved in any trades or transactions that moved into the Suns. However, I'd be happy to provide my prediction. And I'm like, wow.
I thought the bot earlier said it doesn't. I thought the bot earlier said that it does not give subjective advice, and now it's telling you that it'll give you its prediction, which is subjective advice.
Well, I go on another 5-minute argument with this bot about, he keeps insisting Kevin Durant, yes, still plays for the Nets, and he has not appeared in the game for the Suns, and I'm like, yeah, because he's injured. They're going to run him out there. He's injured. He can't play. So I was like, I sent him 2 links, and he keeps, after 2 links, says, I apologize. However, I should note that the article you linked is not a legitimate news source. It was from ESPN. Anyway, and my response with that was, Jeebus, H Christmas, because I didn't want to swear. Are you high? I think I language, Val. I do not have the ability to get high. So anyway, we never got to the bottom. I went back. Durant was traded, update your information. I kept telling him, kept telling me I was wrong. To another link, told me it was fake news. Who is the president of the USA? As of my knowledge, cutoff date of September 2021, the president of the United States was Joe Biden. Oh, okay. Now I know what's going on here. September 2021. How is it possible that you can have such an incomplete grasp of events and try to have an intelligent conversation? And then I asked him, what team does Spencer Dinwiddie play for? Of course, he still thinks he plays for the Washington Wizards. Nope. Brooklyn, I just corrected you on that 15 minutes ago. Durant plays for... Of course, it gets it wrong again. Anyway, that's my little conversation with my new buddy at ChatGPT. Sorry it took so long.
Yeah, that was pretty. I didn't know him keep the whole thing. I think that was funny. So I think we. I don't really know what else to talk about myself. I don't know if there's.
We did 3 stories already.
I did
3, I did 3,
I did
right?
1.5. One was just a continuation of the Prime Minister's visit to Ukraine, and I did a crime update on life sentence, Mafia bosses.
Okay.
Like news here in media, like.
This
doesn't really have to do with Europe, but it's been reported.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Talking over.
Oh, sorry.
There is some news, not really from Europe, but in the media here, that actor Bruce Willis suffers from, at the age of 71, I believe, he has been diagnosed frontotemporal dementia. Very common between the. Fortunately, communication problems are just one symptom of Bruce's illness, family writes. Although it's painful that we finally have a clear diagnosis. The announcement of the diagnosis, the family wants to draw more attention to. They're sure that if people could, Bruce would bring global attention and solidarity with people who are dealing with his debilitating disease. 67, my bad, not 71. 67-year-old Willis, of course, is famous for Die Hard, Pulp Fiction, Armageddon, and The Sixth Sense. Last film he worked on, the series with the show Assassin, likely be.
Sad for Bruce. I guess today's in history. Geronimo dies in 1909. Did you know Geronimo, before he died, converted to a religion called the Dutch Reformed Church? And he was kicked out for his inability to resist gambling. Geronimo, who lived the ripe old age of 80, died on this day. He basically went to war with the U.S. federal government. Eventually lost, but of course, it was a numbers game after a while. But he had moved about 4,000 Apaches off the reservation. And by 1874, they were in open negotiations, basically, and they were just eventually going to lose. Birthdays today, Michael Jordan and Jim Brown is. Michael Jordan turns my age, 60. Jim Brown turns 87, the greatest American football player of all time. Retired after like 9 years. Like, I'm done. I'm tired of beating on my body. He became an actor. And he's still around. An activist. He's been an activist basically his whole life. Jim Brown, probably the greatest athlete ever produced in the 20th century. Probably him and Jim Thorpe. Jim Brown, also known as the world's all-time greatest college lacrosse player. That's my news for today. I ran out of time.
And that has been Allison from the Netherlands with about Ukraine and other interesting topics. And
Roger, who's run out of people to argue with, so he's arguing with technology. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
yeah, we hope to see you next week for exciting news out of the globe.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.